Welcome to the third and final part of the Bridging Benefits and Work training. During Part 1, you learned about the basic eligibility rules and the application process for each of the most common benefits people with disabilities in Minnesota receive. Then, in Part 2, you learned about the common myths regarding benefits and work, as well as the facts that dispel those myths. When providing you that information, we pointed out some tools and information on Minnesota's DB 101 website. During this final part of the training, we'll give you a comprehensive orientation to DB 101, since it's a key tool for you in addressing concerns about benefits and work. DB 101 is a website that houses a huge number of tools and a ton of information to support your efforts in dispelling myths and getting folks connected to more help. Throughout this training, we'll provide you with recommendations for using different aspects of DB 101 when addressing questions or concerns. Before we launch into all those details, it's helpful for you to have a general idea of what DB 101 is and how it works. In broad terms, DB 101 is a benefits and work planning website that offers information, resources, and tools to help you better understand benefits and work incentives. The site was designed to not only help you address general questions and concerns about benefits and working, it was also designed for people with disabilities. It can help a person explore the idea of work, make an informed choice about work, achieve better employment outcomes, and get connected to a benefits expert. We recommend you bookmark mn.db101.org on your internet browser for quick access. Now, if you aren't familiar with db101.org, you should open a separate window on your computer, so as we go through the training, you can locate the features we share with you. We also recommend that after this training, you spend some time getting to know the site. That way, you can easily pull up specific articles, tools, or estimators when people you're working with have questions or concerns about work and benefits. The first key feature on DB 101 that you should know about is the My DB 101 account option. You and the people you support can create a username and password to then log into the site. Once you or the person logs in, you can save specific articles and tools as favorites. All of the things you or the person chose as favorites will be listed on the bottom of each page under the My DB 101 heading. This feature makes it easy for a person to get right to the articles that are key to their situation. Additionally, when a person does an Estimator session, which we'll talk about in a bit, their session will automatically be saved in their My DB 101 account if they are logged in. Then, the session will be listed under the My DB 101 heading at the bottom of the page. By saving the Estimator sessions, the person can then easily pull up the results to look at later, or add or change their plan. Creating a My DB 101 account is easy. Go to www.mn.db101.org, then click Register in the top right corner of the screen. Enter your email address, enter a password, and confirm it. Then enter an organization that you're with. If none of them apply, choose None of these. Then click Submit. Once you've done that, an email will be sent to the email account that you used in registering. It's that easy. Now, when helping people address concerns about benefits, it's ideal for you to assist the person in setting up their My DB 101 account. Once you've done that, you can help the person save a few key articles or tools as favorites so they can easily find them and review them later. Taking this step will also be key for using the DB 101 feature called My Vault, which we'll talk about later in this training. Now, as you can see from these instructions, to set up a My DB 101 account, a person must have an email address. If the person you're assisting doesn't have one, you can help them create one or encourage them to get one set up, since it can be helpful for communicating with many people, including potential employers. If they just aren't interested in getting an email address, you can let the person know a My DB 101 account isn't possible and encourage them to reconsider the option later. The Disability Hub MN can also help a person set up an email address if they need one to register for a My DB 101 account. And speaking of reaching out to the Hub, let's turn to the next slide and look at the Get Help feature and how it can support you. The next key component to DB 101 that you should be familiar with is the Get Help feature. The logic behind this feature is that while all the information and tools on DB 101 are helpful, many people will need help understanding the details as they relate to their situation, or may need help using a tool. This feature provides that help, and the assistance is not just for people with disabilities. If you are helping a person and have a question that isn't addressed in any of the articles or by using a tool, then you can also use Get Help. It's a fantastic service. Now, the staff that provide this service are all part of the Disability Hub MN, and they're available Monday through Friday between 8:30 a.m. and 5 o'clock p.m., except holidays. To access their assistance, you or the person wanting help can start a live chat. You can also call and talk to someone or send an email. On the bottom of each page in DB 101, there is a box titled Get Help. In that blue box, you'll find details for how to chat, call, or email. On that box, you can click Chat Online if you'd like to start a chat. The phone number for the Disability Hub MN is also listed here in case you need it. And lastly, if you'd prefer to send an email, you can click Email the Hub, and a box will pop up, opening and providing you a way to send an email. Access to all three of these options can also be found at the top of each page on DB 101. Now there are quite a few uses for the Get Help feature, some of which we've already discussed. But let's look at all the possibilities. If you need help navigating the website or have any questions as you're reading through content using a tool or watching a video, you can simply chat, call, or email to get help. You have help right at the tip of your fingers. So never feel like you have to guess the answer to a person's questions. You have a team of support ready to help you address any question or fear the person has about benefits and work. The other great thing you can do is model using the Get Help feature while you're with a person. Then they can see how easy it is to get help with questions about benefits and work. Let the person know they can use live chat, call, or email too, which empowers the person to be more independent in finding answers to issues or questions that arise. And lastly, you can share information about the Get Help feature with your coworkers and colleagues so they know they can use it and let the people they serve know it's available. You'll find that DB 101 has tons of great articles that can be helpful in several different ways. First, let's take a look at the articles that are available, and then we can look at how they can be helpful. The articles are organized into two key areas: programs and your situation. Program articles include cash benefits, healthcare coverage, and work programs. The Your Situation articles include topics related to going to work, young people and benefits, and being new to benefits. Let's take a look at what you'll find in the Programs section. The articles related to programs are organized into three areas: cash benefits, healthcare coverage, and work programs. The cash benefit articles include benefits that are common for people with disabilities to receive. There are articles on SSDI, SSI, MSA, short and long-term disability insurance, housing, MFIP, SNAP, GA, child care assistance, and lastly, energy assistance. You can see there is a wealth of information provided on the website about cash benefits. The same is actually true of healthcare coverage. In that section, you'll find an article that gives an overview of all healthcare programs, an article that can help people find the right healthcare coverage for their situation, as well as an article on employer-sponsored health coverage, MNsure, Medicare, MA, Minnesota Care, prescription drug coverage, and Program HH. Lastly, there are content articles that are all about programs that support work. These articles include a general explanation of work programs, a general explanation of work incentives, an article about Social Security's plan to achieve self-support, known as PASS, the Earned Income Tax Credit, or EITC for short, the Ticket to Work program, and individual development accounts, called IDAs for short. These articles are designed to help the person build their knowledge about benefits and work, thereby making informed choice possible. The second content area is called Your Situation. These articles are designed to provide information that's specific to people in certain situations. Within this content area, the articles are organized into 3 main domains. The first, Going to Work, includes articles about common myths and their facts, finding the right job, a toolbox, rights and responsibilities, accommodations, managing benefits while working, building assets, and success stories. There are also a series of articles geared toward young people, including benefits for young people, higher education, finding a job, work, success stories, and tips for parents. Lastly, there are a handful of articles for people who are new to benefits, including an article about sudden disability onset, having a progressive disability, and success stories. So, how can all these articles support you in addressing questions about benefits and work? There are actually a number of ways these articles can support you. First, you can read the articles to build your own knowledge. You'll find the articles are packed with lots of great information. You can also share relevant articles with people you support so they can build their knowledge. Some people will be thrilled to have a place they can go to learn more about the benefits they receive, whereas other people may be overwhelmed by trying to read all that information, just because that may not be consistent with their learning style. So you'll need to be thoughtful about which and how many articles you encourage a person to read. Now, when a person asks you a question that you know is addressed in one of the articles, you can use that as an opportunity to show them how to find the answer on DB 101. By doing that, you're empowering with the skills to locate answers on their own. Another great way to use articles is by showing people some of the success stories. It can be hard for some people to imagine that it's possible to work, financially get ahead, and maintain access to needed benefits. Sometimes the best way to communicate that is through examples of what other people have done. So be sure to point out some of the great success stories included throughout the content. And lastly, you can recommend your coworkers also read some of the articles on DB 101 so they can begin building their knowledge as well. All right, there's one more area of content I want to point out. For some people, it can be difficult to read the articles about benefits and work. The reality is we all absorb and process information in different ways. For people who are visual and auditory learners, they learn from seeing and hearing, there are short animated videos on DB 101 that address several different topics. There are 3 videos about SSI. One explains the basics of SSI, another explains how a person getting SSI can work and get ahead, and the last one explains some helpful details for youth with SSI who work. There are also 3 videos about SSDI, including one that explains the basics of SSDI, one that provides some high-level encouraging information for people with SSDI who are in the planning stages of work, and one on SSDI work incentives that's helpful for those who are working or close to getting a job. Lastly, there is one video that provides a brief explanation of the Minnesota-specific benefits that are commonly used by people with disabilities. There are also videos that highlight people with disabilities who have been successful in going to work. The 3 to 5 minute videos give a quick story of how Nathaniel, Mohammed, and Tamir have been successful in their work. So, how can you use these videos? First and foremost, if you haven't watched them already, take some time right now to watch them to build your knowledge. You can come back to this training when you're done watching the videos. As you learned in the first 2 parts of this training, those videos contain basic information that it's important you're familiar with. You can also encourage a person and their support team to watch the videos that relate to questions or concerns they have. For example, if you're working with someone who's on SSI and they're concerned they'll have less money when they work, you can direct them to this SSI and Work video. In less than 5 minutes, the video will share with them all the key concepts about SSI and work, which will make your job much easier. Another way you can use these videos is by encouraging your colleagues and coworkers to watch them so they can build their knowledge and direct the people they serve to the videos when the need arises. Use the success story videos to help people you support, other people on their team, and your coworkers see that work is possible. Watching Nathaniel, Muhammad, and Tamir's stories can be a great way for people to see work is possible. The next DB 101 component I'd like to share with you is the tools. There are some incredibly helpful tools on DB 101, some of which were mentioned in the second part of this training. We'll start with the Triads. Triads are simple calculators that are embedded throughout the various articles. You may find it helpful to know that a list of links to all the Triads can be found on the Partners tab on DB 101. Now, the majority of these Triads focus on calculating something in regards to one benefit, not multiple benefits at once. With SSDI, there's a Triad that helps a person think through and add up all of the impairment-related work expenses they may have. There's also a Triad that helps a person think through the impact of work on an SSDI benefit, one that helps a person count up their trial work period usage, and lastly, one that helps a person estimate their countable earnings for the SSDI benefit. There are two Triads for Minnesota Supplemental Aid. One Triad calculates an estimated MSA benefit amount for someone who also receives SSI. The other calculates an estimated MSA benefit for someone who does not receive SSI. You'll see here there are also a handful of Triads for the SSI benefit. The one called Your SSI Benefit Calculation estimates a person's SSI benefit amount. The SSI in Work Triad calculates the effect a specific earning goal would have on the SSI. There's also a Triad that helps a person estimate the type and total amount of impairment-related work expenses they may have. And lastly, there's a Triad that helps a person see how much their countable earned income would be when using the Student Earned Income exclusion. There are two Triads for housing support, formerly called group residential housing. One Triad estimates the amount a person would have to pay for room and board when they get SSI. The other Triad is for those who don't get an SSI benefit. And lastly, there are three Triads related to healthcare coverage. There is a fantastic Triad called Finding the Right Coverage for You that helps a person figure out which Minnesota healthcare programs they're likely to be eligible for. There's also a Triad that estimates a person's premium amount for MAEPD. And lastly, there's a Triad that's embedded in several different articles that helps a person determine, based on their family size, what the income limits would be for a number of different Minnesota healthcare programs. So now that you know what Triads are, let's think through how they can support you in addressing concerns about benefits and work. The first way you can use them is to help you build your own knowledge about a particular benefit. For example, by entering different numbers into the Triad called Your SSI Benefit Calculation, you'll begin to understand how different types of income affect the SSI amount. Another key way you can use the Triads is by sitting down with a person and walking through the Triad to help answer a particular question. Let's say you're working with someone who's interested in using MAEPD, but is wondering what the premium amount would be. You could open DB 101, go to the MAEPD Premium Triad, help the person fill in the answers to the questions, and show them what the Triad estimates their premium would be. Or, if the person's comfortable using it on their own, you can just refer to the relevant Triad and let them know they can use it on their own. As you can see, these little calculators can be incredibly helpful in addressing concerns about benefits and work. All right. Now that you have a solid understanding of the Triads, let's look at the next type of tool on DB 101 that can help address concerns about benefits and work. Estimators also do calculations, but they are much more robust than Triads because they take into account multiple benefits. The purpose of the estimators is to help a person with a disability get an idea of the effect work will have on all of their benefits. The person, alone or with your support, enters information about their situation and their earning goal. Then the estimator analyzes those details and kicks out a summary of what would likely happen. The results help a person see if they'll be getting ahead given a specific earning goal. Now, there are three estimators on DB 101, the Benefits and Work Estimator, the School and Work Estimator, and the MAEPD Estimator. Let's talk through the high points of each. The Benefits and Work Estimator, which is the most commonly used estimator, gives an estimate of how a specific earning goal will affect the cash benefits and healthcare coverage the person has. On the results page of the estimator session, it will show the person whether they're likely to get ahead when working and by specifically how much. This is the type of detail some people need to make an informed choice about work. Now, this particular estimator is designed for people age 18 to 64. You can expect it will take about 20 to 30 minutes to complete the estimator session, depending on your skill level and the benefits involved. It may take less time. If you are working with someone who would like to complete a benefits and work estimator session, but you feel a little uncertain about doing that, you can simply call the hub for support. A little later in this training, we'll explain how you can get help. Now, the Benefits and Work Estimator doesn't address every benefit, but it certainly covers many of them. It can address changes in SSDI, Disabled Adult Child Benefits, SSI, MSA, SNAP, GA, Section 8 Housing, Housing Support, formerly called GRH, MA, MAEPD, Medicare, Minnesota Care, Employer-Sponsored Health Coverage, MNsure, the Earned Income Tax Credit, and the Property Tax Refund. The second estimator is the School and Work Estimator. This one is designed for young people with disabilities who are interested in working. Now, a youth doesn't need to be in school to use this estimator, but if they are in school, the estimator takes into account the Student Earned Income Exclusion. That's a work incentive you learned about in Part 2 of this training, and on the SSI and Youth Who Work video. The estimator is simpler than the Benefits and Work Estimator. It only takes about 10 to 15 minutes to complete. Since youth are likely to access a smaller variety of benefits, this estimator only addresses SSI, MSA, Disabled Adult Child, MA, MAEPD, Medicare, Minnesota Care, Employer Health Coverage, and MNsure. That means if you work with a youth who gets SSDI, they'll need to use the Benefit and Work Estimator instead. The third estimator is designed to show a person if they'd likely qualify for MAEPD. One of the nice features of this estimator is that on the results page, it not only shows if the person would likely get MAEPD, it also shows an estimated premium amount and the other Minnesota healthcare programs they may qualify for and the likely cost of each for those. So it's a great way for a person to see their healthcare coverage options. Now, this tool is designed for people with disabilities age 18 and older, and it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to complete. Given the focus of this estimator, the only benefits it addresses is MA, MAEPD, Medicare, Minnesota Care, Employer Health Coverage, and MNsure. Now, the estimators are powerful in a couple of ways. As was mentioned earlier, you can help a person complete an estimator session to see the effect of work on benefits and create a plan to get ahead. If you feel a little uncertain about helping a person use an estimator, remember you can use the Get Help feature for support. You can call, email, or start a chat Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. The Get Help box is on the top and bottom of every page in DB 101, so help is right at your fingertips. Now, it's also possible you could work with someone who is comfortable using the estimators by themselves. If that's the case, be sure to tell them about the Get Help feature so the person knows how to access help if they need it. My Vault is the newest feature on DB 101. The only way for a person to access this feature, though, is by registering for a MyDB 101 account and then logging in. Once logged in, there are several ways My Vault can support a person. The first key way it can provide support is by providing a way for a person to request information about their current benefits, which is called a benefits lookup. The benefits lookup will show the person which benefits they're getting now and how much. This information is important for a couple of reasons. First, you want to be certain you know for sure which benefits the person has so you can give them accurate information about benefits and work. For example, you don't want to direct a person who is getting SSI to the SSDI work incentives video. The other reason a benefits lookup can be helpful is because it allows the person to become more knowledgeable about the benefits they get. And knowledge is power. They can use the information not only in planning for work, but also when talking to their financial worker, case manager, family, or other people on their team. By clicking Request Lookup in the My Vault feature, a request for the benefit lookup will be sent to the Department of Human Services. DHS will complete the benefits lookup and send it back to the person's vault within 2 business days. Since the vault is totally secure, the person will need to share the benefits lookup with you so you can see it too. To do that, they will need to add your email address to the benefit lookup request in the spot it says, "Send a copy of my report to." When your email address is entered, a copy of the benefit lookup worksheet will automatically be sent to your email. Another key way My Vault can support a person is through its Files section. The Vault provides a protected place for people to store their information. When a person requests a benefit lookup, by default that will be stored in the Files section of their Vault. But the person can also choose to store other benefit-related documents in their Vault. For instance, they can scan the notices they get from the county, from Social Security, or their housing provider, and store them in their Vault. Or you could help them do this. Doing that makes it easy for them to share those documents with others they've added to their contacts list because of the Share feature in My Vault. Another great feature of the Vault is that once a benefits lookup is done, that information can easily be used to run an Estimator session. The details on the benefit lookup will automatically populate in an Estimator session if the person chooses to do one. Given that, the person and you, if you're helping them, only need to answer the remaining questions in the Estimator. You can learn more about My Vault by watching a short video, which is located on the My Vault tab when you are not logged into your MyDB 101 account. All right, there are a few other tools on DB 101 that are helpful for you to be familiar with. The first of which is the Glossary. The reality is the world of work and benefits has its own lingo and acronyms, which can be dizzying at times, not only for people receiving benefits, but also for professionals who work in the field. This glossary provides a quick and easy way to look up a term that's being used and clarify what it means. After you click on the Glossary tab, you can either click on the letter that the term begins with, or you can click on the relevant topic in the menu on the left and narrow down the glossary terms for that particular topic. For example, if you want to know what the asset limit is for MAEPD, click on MAEPD on the left and then scroll down to Asset Limit. You may find it helpful to know that as you read through the articles on DB 101, you'll find glossary terms are in blue font and have a link directly to the glossary so you can easily find the definition. And as always, if you're needing more clarification than what's provided on the site, you can always use the Get Help feature. The Partners page on DB 101 is also an important one for you to be familiar with. It was designed for people just like you. People working in the disability services who are having conversations with people about work and benefits. The Partners tab has information organized in 4 key areas. On the far right side of the page is a list of quick links. Since partners use Triads a lot, there's a list of the most common ones provided for you on this page, so you can easily get to the one you need quickly. The Setting the Stage for Change section has useful tools to help you incorporate DB 101 into your workplace, and also has some helpful information and tools, like videos and handouts that you can use when assisting someone who's just thinking about work, called Setting the Stage. Under the Go Deep and Apply section, you'll find videos, exercises, and handouts for you and your coworkers to build your knowledge about benefits and work and the DB 101 site. And lastly, the Get a Smart Start for Youth section has videos and tools designed for you to help with youth, helping them and their families understand how to balance work and benefits to reach goals. There's also a facilitator guide and curriculum with that training series that educators or others can use to incorporate into existing group education settings. As you begin taking steps to help address concerns about benefits and work, keep one key concept in mind. Benefits should not dictate a person's goals. Nelson Mandela said it perfectly. May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. In our work, we should be supporting a person in setting goals based on what they want, the type of work that fits their abilities, interests, and conditions, the number of hours they feel they can reasonably work, and what they want for their future. The combination of those things can help define how much a person will earn. With that information, the person should get the support they need to create a plan to assure they financially get ahead when they work. In your role, you simply need to help dispel myths, know who to talk to and get folks connected to for more benefits planning supports when needed, and last but certainly not least, help folks stay focused on the ultimate goal, which is to be better off. The only true path out of poverty is employment, and we need to make sure people are able to make truly informed decisions about work so they can set their own goals and work to their full potential. We thank you for taking the time to build your knowledge in this area, and we applaud you for your willingness to help address the benefits barrier, which is a completely unnecessary barrier to employment. We'll leave you with this closing thought. Most consumers are motivated to work, provided they perceive that the professionals helping them also embrace the belief in the importance of work and genuinely believe they can work. As a team, we can support more people with disabilities in achieving their employment goals and moving out of poverty by diligently busting down one barrier after another.